Y'all can hear me? Okay. I told her it worked earlier. Hello? Okay. Now I gotta figure out how to turn it up. I'm gonna just hold it like this. That's enough. Okay. We're gonna do it like this. We're gonna make it work. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Browse Beauty and Business. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
Okay, all right. So I'm Joy Madden with the Look by Joy, and this is, they have this Browse Business, but this is my Browse Beauty and Business class. I'm from Atlanta. I own the Look by Joy Cosmetics. Anybody from Atlanta? Okay, 1, 2, 3, we got a few sprinkles in here. Okay, so I'm in Greenbrier Mall. In March, it'll be my 15-year anniversary. So I've actually had a cosmetic counter, brick and mortar, for 15 years. And I'll be celebrating. I am excited about it. Throughout the years, I've done pretty much everything you can think of in beauty. Brows, lashes, I've had my kiosks, I've had salons, spas, barbershops, nail shops. I teach classes, been educator at several different trade shows. Anything you can think of, in the beauty business, I've tried it. Some was good, some was bad, but I did it. I love the beauty industry. I actually am from Atlanta. I went to North Clayton High School. When I was in high school, I was on the drill team. Anybody else was on the drill team? Okay, that's important if you was on the drill team. So I was on the drill team, and I started doing makeup in high school. You know, before we went out to perform, the girls would be like, "You doing makeup?" And of course, I was like, "Yeah." And I was one of those people, like, if I tried it on myself, and he was like, "That looked good," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you want me to do it on you?" Knowing what I know what I was doing, but it worked out. But so even after high school, I went to college, and I went to college for nursing. And while I was in college, I actually opened up my own eyebrow store in my dorm, pretty much. And I had people coming by, and they would get their brows done. At that time, it was, $5 if you brought your own razor, $7 if you used mine. Had to, add that on there. And I actually had a receptionist. My homegirl was a receptionist. She was like, "Listen, we'll take you after we get back from lunch. You'll be the first client." And so I had flyers, was passing them around, everything. So it was crazy because I went to school for nursing at Morris Brown, and they cut the nursing program. So I had to transfer. So I transferred to Emory. So I was, pretty smart. Transferred to Emory, got to Emory, and I was like, man, I ain't know all these people was gonna be sick. And when I had to do my clinicals, and it never clicked in my head that all these people was really gonna be sick. So I was like, Lord, what am I gonna do? And I ended up transferring again. And my friend was like, "Come to FAM. It's real cool, such and such." And I was like, "Oh, bad." Needless to say, I went down there for a semester, and I got all fantastics, right? Because we had a good time though. Came back up here to Atlanta. I took some classes at Atlanta Metro, changed my major to business, and went to Georgia State. So while I was at Georgia State, I was working at a cosmetic counter, and I was working at a salon. And when I was in the salon, I was approached to start my own cosmetic counter. They had like a program. So I went for the training, did good. They gave me a little scholarship to open my cosmetic counter, and 15 years later, I'm still here. I did stop going to school. I wouldn't recommend nobody, but I did stop going to school, and the rest is history. So I always tell that story because I'm like, I went to all those schools, and I got all those student loans, and did all of this, and it was a waste. But when I think back, like, all of it was part of my journey, because even I was taking nursing, I had to get my I got my cosmetology license. All of it was nursing. And I actually did an apprenticeship, so I didn't go to school. So when I was in the salon and when I got my license, everybody went to school, they failed. But I passed because I had a nursing background, and then even opening my own business, I took the business classes. just mentoring everything. Everything that I did had something to do with where I am now. So just if wherever you are in your life and you think, oh, it might not be going where I wanted to, just know it's part of your journey, okay? Today, what we're gonna do is gonna talk about the brow business. I love doing brows. Like I said, I'm a licensed cosmetologist. I hate doing hair. Y'all probably can tell by my hair that the hair is not my thing. But I like brows because it's like a gateway service, if you understand what I'm saying. So even though we have a cosmetic counter, we do the eyebrows, but then we make more money selling makeup, so it's a gateway service. So even if you're doing hair, you should always have something that you can sell. So I don't care if it's combs, I don't care if it's a brush, whatever it is, you always want to kind of build up your ticket with sales, because most of the time people can only come and get one service. They can only do one washing set on you, one blow dry on you, but I can sell you $200 or $300 worth of products. Okay. So what I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna show you guys a video, and it's pretty much an instructional video of how to do a razor arch and fill it in. You guys can take notes if you want to take your cameras out, take some videos or some photos. But if you already signed up for the class, I will be emailing the video out to all the attendees. So, okay? And then we'll talk a little bit afterwards. It's on the side. Should be like a little butt, like a white butt. You tell me what there we go. There we go. Now she plugged up the mic and took this. Hi, I'm Joy with the Look by See if she out there, cause she plugged. Huh? No, she unplugged. Also purchase my luxury signature brow powder at www.thelookbyjoy.com. Now I'm about to show you how to get the perfectly shaped eyebrow. There are many different methods: razor, waxing, threading, tweezing, sugaring, you name it. But with my signature technique, you can use it to get the perfectly shaped eyebrow using any method desired. And the first thing we're going to do is make sure that the brow is clean. You want to make sure that there's no makeup, dirt, or residue that can block you from seeing the actual eyebrow and the eyebrow hair. So I like to use an astringent or a toner when I clean my eyebrows. And the brow, which I've already prepped, but I'm going to clean it again. So after you've cleaned your brow, you want to inspect your brow. There are a couple things you want to look for: dry skin, torn skin, bumps, moles, or anything that can obstruct the view of the eyebrows, or that you can accidentally cut or pull or snatch while arching the eyebrow. So I like to brush the hair up, then over, then down. And it also helps when I'm figuring out what kind of shape I'm going to give my client, because some people have gashes in their brows, some people have earrings in their eyebrows. So you want to make sure that you can achieve the look that your client wants with the hair that they have. So now I'm going to use a lubricant on the eyebrows. And this is mainly done when you're doing the razor. This will help the razor glide across the skin a little smoother. I like to use a brow primer that we sell. Mainly because it's silicone based. Some people use moisturizers, some people use oils, but most oils and moisturizers can dull your razor out faster. That's why I like to use something with a silicone base, such as this. And you also want to make sure whatever lubricant that you use is clear, so that doesn't obstruct the brows also. So I'm going to put a thin layer across the brow, just a little bit. So next, I'm going to open up my razor. Now, when doing the razor, a couple things. You want to make sure that you use a new razor on everybody and that you dispose of your razors properly into a container that is closed. When doing waxing, you want to make sure you don't double dip your sticks into the wax while doing the client. Two things you really need to know just for sanitary purposes. So the first part of my technique is making a guide. It's two key things in my signature technique that I want you to remember. A, making a guide is important, and B, pulling the skin. What you want to do is you want to pull the eyebrow at the brow bone, and that's going to give you the natural arch your client has. So when making a guide, you brush the hair up. Pull the skin, and you begin at the beginning of the eye. Hold your razor at the tip end with your first finger and your thumb. And with the opposite hand, you take your thumb and you pull up at the brow bone. So I'm going to begin to make the guide with long strokes. Go back. You want to make sure the line is sharp. When you go up into the brow bone, then you're going to come straight down. See that? Now this part is going to show you how good your guide is done. When you brush the hair to the side, it should look like a nice groom eyebrow. But we're going to go a step further in grooming the eyebrow. You're going to brush the hair down. And as you can see, the hair hangs over that perfect guide that you just created. In this step, some people like to use scissors to trim the hair that hangs over the guide. But I personally like to use the same blade because it gives a sharper look and a more even cut. You're going to take your opposite hand and you're going to hold the hair down and you're going to hold the razor as you've been holding it. And you're just going to cut the hair that hangs over the guide. Clean the razor off. Continue trimming. Brush it down again just to check the accuracy. Clean up my blade. Now, the only two things left to do are the top of the brow and groom the front of the brow. When grooming the top of the eyebrow, you want to make sure you come straight down with the blade. Not starting all the way here at the forehead area, but closer to the brow. You want to come from the top straight down onto the top of the brow. You don't want to go into the brow hair. You just want to leave it at the top where the hair starts. So I really want you to practice this before we do it with a blade. So take the back of your brush and just come down. Hold the skin, don't pull it, because if you pull it and come down, you'll make a U into the eyebrow. So just hold the skin at the top, come down. Hold it, come down. Come at an angle over here, come down. Just make it straight, right at the edge of the brow. So we're going to do it with the razor now. Start here, come down. Make sure you do not make a U in the brow. Start pulling on the brow. And when you keep to the side, make sure it's angled, but your razor is still coming down straight. So, there are a couple of ways you can groom the front of the brow. Some people like to keep the front of their brow in a natural shape and they don't groom it. But I like to trim the front just a little. So, with the same razor, I just line the razor up and trim the front outward, making it a little square. Now if you want to achieve a more circle look, then you just cut the tips here and your eyebrow a little circle at the end. Last, check the eyebrow, brush it up, brush it down, and brush it to the right to see if any stray hairs are there that need to be trimmed. So I see a few. I brush it down. And then when I brush it up, just going to trim a few hairs, little stray hairs that stick out. And there you go, a perfectly groomed eyebrow. So we're going to do her left eyebrow. And don't forget, the first thing you need to do is clean the brow. Make sure there's no makeup, no buildup, no residue, anything that will block you from arching the eyebrow or affect doing a razor or waxing or whatever method you're using. Next, get your lubricant. Once again, I like to use something silicone based. Our brow prime. It's clear, it's not oily, it's not going to dull out the razor, so it's perfect. So just a light layer. Then you're going to brush the eyebrow up. And pull the skin, making your guide. So you want to make sure that as you're making your guide, you're still pulling the skin. And usually, the older your client is, the tighter you'll have to pull the skin, because as we age, your skin loses its elasticity. so it's not as tight as it is when we're younger. So you want to make sure you're always practicing pulling the skin. And it also makes the skin smooth so the blade can slide across. Perfect guide. We're going to brush the hair down. We're going to trim over the guide. The razor. You want to always make sure that you know where both ends of your razor are. So be aware, even though you're just using one tip, make sure that you're aware of where the other tip is. So we're going to brush the eyebrow down. From the top, make sure you come straight down and that you do not pull the skin tightly. You just hold it in place as you run the eyebrow. Brush through and check the brows. Brush them up. See if you have any hair that needs to be changed. Go ahead and do that. Room the front a little. You make that square shape.
One thing I want y'all to know is that even though I'm doing her brows for this demo, I always work on my speed.
Now that I've completed her brow arch,
Make sure you're working on your speed because time is money.
I'm going to wipe it down one more time.
Maybe 5 minutes. 5.
Using a diluted alcohol, diluted toner, or witch hazel, whatever you desire. But you want to make sure you dilute it so that you don't burn your client. So I usually like to do a 50-50 split with water. So now I'm going to show you how to fill an eyebrow in. And this is one of our more popular services. Usually when you get your eyebrows arched, groomed, whether it's razor, wax, tweezing at my store, I always do a brow fill-in just to complement the service. And what this is we just apply the makeup using my signature brow powder and a couple of other products to make the brows look a little fuller. We start off by putting a thin layer of brow fix on it. What it is a clear gel that helps the powder last a little longer. And it also lays and maintains the eyebrows. Next, I like to use a liner. Now this is optional, but what it does is it gives the eyebrows a 3D effect. So I'll start off just doing a liner, black, dark brown, ebony. At the guide. Then I take my angle brush and the brow powder actually comes with one, so you can do the brow powder. And I'm going to actually use the dark brown on Ashley. The brow powder actually comes in black, wheat, dark brown, and Ombre. In selecting your colors, a couple things you take in mind. Your client's hair color and their brow color. I can use the auburn or the weave because I have a lighter hair color. Or if I want a darker brow, I can just go in with the dark brown and the black. So when you hold the brush so that the long part is pointed towards your nose. So if it's like this, if it's this way, you're holding this way. If you're holding on the left brow, you'll make sure that point is going towards the right. Just a little bit is all you need. And you start from the guide and you just brush through. Now the main thing is, since your brows are already arched, you can just follow that same shape. And don't get worried if you go outside of the brow where it's arched, because at the end, you can just clean that up. So then I take my concealer brush and my concealer, and we're gonna do a highlight up under the eyebrow. Now, a good and easy way to make sure your highlight and your brow powder go on smoothly is to pull the skin so it's not lumpy. Now, when you're doing the highlight, you want to make sure that you use a color that is one, maybe 2 shades lighter than the skin tone. I'm going to take it a little lighter just for demo purposes so you can see it really good and it can stand out. And also, some people like to put the highlight around the top of the eyebrow too to clean up the eyebrow. Now, whenever you do this, you want to make sure that you come back and you blend it in properly. You blend it in real smooth. So I'm going to take a blending concealer brush and blend the bottom and the top of the concealer. And there you have it. Now I'm going to do the other eyebrow. So once again, I like to start at the guide with a dark pencil, dark brow pencil. Just to give a little guide. We've already put our brow gel on, and the brow gel can be applied before or after the service. We're going to take our brow powder, our brow brush, our brow angle brush. Brush through the hair. Don't get worried if you go outside of the hairline because you can clean it up with the next step. And you want to make sure you blend in this bottom line, even if you have to come back with a brush and brush it through. So then we have our concealer and concealer brush. Once again. Go around the top. And the key is right here is blending. And the blending is really good. Okay. So right now you can just do a double check. We've perfectly arched and groomed the eyebrow using my signature technique, making the guide and pulling the skin to get sharp and precise lines. And we've also done another service called a fill-in, where we fill the brow in with my signature brow powder, brow gel, and liner pencil. Okay, we're gonna do another demo of a perfectly arched eyebrow using my signature technique. Now keep in mind, with this technique, we're pulling the skin and we're creating the perfect guide to lead you in the service. First things first, we're gonna clean off the eyebrow. Then I like to use a primer, clear silicone base that will not dry out your razor. Now if you're doing waxing, threading, sugaring, or any other technique, you don't want to prime the skin because it's going to make the skin slippery. Make sure you use a new razor on each client. I'm going to inspect her eyebrows, making sure that she doesn't have anything that would obstruct the use of a razor or anything that will be in a way that I can accidentally cut, like a mole, open skin, dry skin, earring, any kind of bump. So we're going to pull the skin so we can create this perfect guide. Start from the beginning of the eye, go up into the natural arc, then come down. Up. And down. Then you're going to brush the hair down and you're going to trim the hair that hangs over the guide. She has a fuller eyebrow, so you can get more of an effect of how to trim the hair that hangs over the guide. I'm going to trim it with the razor. Some people like to use scissors. I prefer a razor because it makes a sharper cut. And we're going to go all the way down to the tail of the brow. Now, if you really want to get into cutting the hair, you can go against the hair, but you have to pull the skin very tight, and this actually makes it smoother.
How many people that do eyebrows use
And it's a little bit underneath the skin.
The other people use the one with the handle? Okay.
So we're trimming the hair,
These are definitely sharper.
and now we're going to groom the top of the eyebrow. Come straight down. Remember, you're coming straight down. And then you want to come at an angle.
We raise the wax and squeeze. But I always, you know how people do scissors? I can always use the razor. So when I'm trimming the hair, I trim with the razor. So that you can do it.
Okay, so just going around and trimming any hairs that are out of place. And what I like about this technique is when you do it over and over and over again, you build speed, in which we all know time is money. So I'm going to groom the front of her brow. So now I'm going to do her left eyebrow. Same technique. And this is a little primer for the brow. We're going to pull the skin. Remember, pulling the skin is key. Pulling the skin, making a perfect guide. Pull the skin, make a perfect guide. Pull the skin, make a perfect guide. And sometimes you might have to repeat the steps over and over again until you get it clean. But making a guide is so important, and keeping the area clean is very, very important for the look and creating a perfectly groomed brow. So now I'm going to trim the hair that hangs over the guide. Brush the hair up and groom the top. Then I'm going to groom the front. Giving it more of a square shape, but not too square. Then you have it perfectly groomed brow. Pull it off. Okay, so right now we're going to fill in her eyebrows. First, we're going to brush just a thin layer of the brow gel across her brows. And you know this is going to maintain the brow. It's going to help the brow powder stick a little bit longer. Then I always like to do a pencil at the guide, just to give a little bit more precision, a little bit more ombre look to the eyebrow. And you don't have to do this, especially if you want a more natural brow. And you can take it across the top just a little bit. And then I'm going to take the brow powder, my signature brow powder. The angle brush. Brush it through the eyebrow. And because her brows are so full, you don't need a lot. And it's okay to go outside of the brow because we're going to clean it up in the next step. And you don't have to take the brow powder all the way to the front, especially if the person has full eyebrows. You can leave that empty. And I like to brush through, even after I put my brow powder on and the pencil, you can brush it through the hair so it can look a little more natural. My concealer brush, concealer. And we're going to highlight under the brow and on top of the brow. This is going to make the brow pop and stand out, and it's also going to clean up any excess brow powder that went outside of the line. Highlight under the brow and top of the brow. And I'm going to take my concealer brush and blend it in. There you have a brow fill in. Okay, we're about to do another brow demo. Now just remember the steps, the key points in my signature technique. Okay. You guys learned something from the video? And this is exactly what I actually do every day at work. I have a store, I do have 4 employees, but throughout the week we do 250 brows at a minimum per week. And that's just the brows, not just the services. A couple of things I want to share with you guys. Like I told you, it is my 15-year anniversary. So what I want to do for my 15th year anniversary is my goal is to do more collaborations and support. So I did open up a Facebook page, a Facebook group, and it's called Glam Executive. And everybody who registered, I am going to send you the link too, but you can go on Look by Joy and look for the Facebook page, Glam Executive, and it's going to be a support group. Because what I find out most of the time, a lot of people understand how to do services, but then they don't know the next step. They don't understand the business of things. Usually in our industry, most people are just artists and they're not business people. So we're going to have activities weekly that you can look and see and participate in. We're going to help each other out. And my goal this year is to mentor 15 active members. So join the group. Be active, and I'll pick 15 people and I'm going to mentor them personally myself this year. In May, we're also opening back up our wholesale line of our brow products. So, not May, March. In March. And then we also are looking for affiliates and influencers that want to be featured using our products. So, if you're interested, if you register, make sure everybody register first, and then you'll get the email. You can sign up through the email. The email will go out Monday. So if you register, make sure you register on the Eventbrite website, and I'll have your email, and I will email you guys all the links. If you need the link, Rochelle has the link for you. Coming up next Sunday, February the 18th, I want to do a virtual training It's usually $125, but if you register before Monday, I'm giving everybody at Bronner Brothers a deal for $75. So it's online. We'll be going over the basic brow, doing a razor, doing a wax, squeezing, and tinting. Okay? So that's another big service that people like. So if you're interested in the virtual training, you can get the link from Rochelle, or you check your emails, or you can sign up today. We can take a payment today too. And in April the 22nd, we have a hands-on master class where you can actually come here to Atlanta and take a hands-on training and go over all of the eyebrow services that we offer at the store. And that one is $495. And if you register this weekend before Monday, it's $395. And that one comes with a kit and certification. Okay? Did anybody have any questions about the video? Sanitation? Okay, she asked me with sanitation as far as the brushes. When you go from client to client, I usually use a brush cleaner, and we sell brush cleaner. So most makeup counters, they use brush cleaner. Okay.
When would you choose a wax over a razor or a tweezer for your client?
Okay, that's a good question. So she asked, when would you choose to do wax, razor, a tweezing for a client? And that's a good client prep. You know, some people go different places because they like how the different services look. So of course, you definitely consult with your client first. If someone has a lot of hair, I definitely am pushing towards wax. You know, especially if they've already got it done before, then they know they're not allergic to it. Then those are some things you want to ask your clients. Some people might be allergic to wax. Some people are allergic to razor. So yeah, some people are allergic to razor. So you just ask the client preference, and that's it. So most times when you wax, it comes.
I got you.
And it does last longer. And it does look cleaner. So yeah.
What lasts longer?
The waxing, it pulls the hairs out from the root.
What's your pricing point?
Okay, price point question. So that's a good question. Here in Atlanta, I'm in the South Side, we're in Greenbrier Mall. So it's $10 a razor, $15 for wax. And which is, we are the highest in our mall, but my store, even though we're in a small mall, and everybody say we're in the hood, but they spend the most money. They do. And it's other people, it's 10 other people in the mall. Well, not just people, 10 other businesses in the mall that do eyebrows. I've been there for 15 years, and I'm gonna give y'all a couple of nuggets why. Okay? First of all, my booth looks amazing. Okay? It looks really nice. It looks like it's something to say. Even though it's so called in the hood, I didn't care. I wanted my booth tricked out. So it stood up, and when I redid my booth, I went to mall management, and I said I want mine in the middle of the mall. And so when people walk in, it's the first thing they see. Okay? So it's the first thing you see. It looks nice. All of my girls that have they're in uniform, I make them come with their faces deep. I don't care if you're sick. If you gonna stand up here, your face can be hurt. Okay? So you gotta sell it, and then you have to be nice. If you work for me, and if you get room one line, you're gone. In front of them. Sorry, I'm so sorry, ma'am. She don't know here now. Because I believe in customer service. You know what I'm saying? And that's what sells. Like, I might not even be the best eyebrow person in the mall, but because people always, they'll say, well, we've been in the salon and we walked in there, and they didn't even want to speak.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's eyebrows, it ain't surgery. Hair ain't surgery. People go for the experience and how you treat them and how close they are to you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what people are paying for. So that's the price point where I am. You go on the north side of town, you probably have to pay $20, $25. If you go out to LA, it's $50, you know. But the going rate, like in most cities that I've noticed, in higher end salons, it's between $20 and $25.
That includes,
And some people don't include the fill-in.
that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. So we do include the fill-in because our fill-in is very simple. It's a, just a very simple, clean fill-in. Now, they have other places in the mall that do like the very, very dramatic fill-in. I don't allow my girls to do that because I don't want that client. Because they usually don't spend money. They just want a whole bunch of makeup on it. They're gone. Which is fine with them, but it takes too long for $10. Okay? So, and we include the fill-in with our service. So some people do, some people don't. Check your area.
What about the price for tint?
Tinting, okay, that's a good question. So tinting is $20 for the tint, and then it doesn't include grooming. But you can't get tint without getting your brows groomed. So some people get their tint and razor, tint and wax, and you know it's $30, $35. But I usually do tint and grooming service and just leave it at $30. Because I don't want, even though I have people who might want to save money, it's still my work. So I can't have you tint and it don't look sharp. So you're gonna get something.
Do you have I guess, a product for tint, like your company?
Right now, we've been trying different products, and you know I go to China every year, so I've been kind of sourcing some different tints. Right now, I've been using a couple of different ones. I've been using the Godfrey. If you guys are familiar with theirs is good because it has henna in it, but it stains the skin. And just to give you some yeah. So just to give you a little knowledge about tint, tint is started off to tint eyelash hair, and then an eyebrow hair that was like blonde, okay? And people couldn't, you know, Caucasian women couldn't see their hair, so they would tint it, right? So they put it towards the skin, and then it just tinted the skin, so it's just like sitting on the skin. Now with the Godfrey, it has henna in it, so it stains the skin. You know, henna stains the skin. So that one's pretty good, but it's very, very bold. And then I use, what's this, Demosil. Demosil's a good tint. Just turn the light. No, just turn the whole thing.
Or you want me to?
Yeah. So Demosil. And then, it's okay. But yeah, so I use both of those, and but with the Godfrey, you can't put it on. You have to watch it because it tints really, really fast.
It's called Godfrey?
Godfrey. Is it Godfrey?
Yeah.
Yes. I will pull it up. I'll pull it up and say it's Godfrey. It's at a beauty supply store. That is the, she asked me what brand of razors those are, and they are Diane. Is it D-I-A-N-E? Blue and white box. Anything but Persona. Personas are too sharp. Now, if you're a barber and you already used to working with Persona, by all means. But even me, when I get Persona in my hand, they are so sharp. They tend to cut the skin.
So if you are doing razors, how long are your clients coming back? Because you said that, I mean, we know waxing it lasts longer, so you said once a week.
Yep. I need to every Friday.
So that's why your price point is lower.
Volume. Yeah.
So Facebook.
Yeah. But so most people, when they do, and that brings up a good point. Like most people, like we're in the middle of the mall, even though our booth is big. It's not like a cart. It's like a case. And I'll pull up a picture. But if you were in like a spa setting, you would probably have to sell them more. You know what I'm saying? Like with the experience, you come on in, you're gonna lay down. No. Next. You know, it's a grab and on service. And most people come and they just gonna get their brows and they're ready to go.
I missed the part. When you razor, was there any type of lubricant that you used on it, or did you dry shave?
It's that's two. Sometimes I dry shave, but most of the time I use a lubricant. And if you register on the Eventbrite link, I'm gonna send the video out so you can watch it again. But he asked that I use lubricant before I razor. And if you're not experienced, I definitely recommend you use lubricant. What I don't have them here because I didn't do a booth this year. But what I am gonna do is send you guys a 30% off coupon. You can purchase them online. Is that fair?
Yes.
30% was enough? And it's gonna be good, throughout all of February, so I'm giving all my students 30% off for, all of February. Any more questions? Comments, ma'am?
Do you have a good video with demoing, threading and waxing?
I don't, not with me. I think this one has, let me see if this one has waxing on it. We'll check the time, I'll check and see if this one has waxing. But if y'all wanna stay a little later, you can watch the waxing. I'll fast forward it, they can remind me in a minute when you wrap up, and I'll just play, see if you got the waxing on it. Any more questions, comments, concerns?
What was the name of the other, kid you said?
Bimacil, B-E-M-S-I, no, C-I-L, C-I-L, yeah. Bimacil. They got a good team. And with theirs, you can use it for, brows and for lashes. Yeah, they do. And then, don't forget, if you like my class, which I know you did, please go on to the Bronner Brothers,
It's a survey link.
survey
You
link.
actually can do it really quickly before you leave.
Go ahead and do it, and I'm gonna pull up the waxing demo.
And I have the link up here as well on the board.
Did anybody not also, get the register for the class with?
I did get the
Okay, so she'll give you the link for you.
All right, the link for the survey is www.bbshowclass.com. And you should be able to complete the survey right from that link. And also, if you came in a little later, if you didn't get a chance to register, if you can raise your hand and I'll come around and give you the registration form so that we can make sure that you get the, yes. Yes. Yeah. I was texting the link to some people earlier.
So we can.
I'll make it easier for you. What's business? What category is that? Excuse me, what category did this come under? So
Business. It came under the business category.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can find.